Hello everybody, it's Rob back again with another video. How are you? First of all, excuse how I look. I've just come back from Brighton. We've been driving in the car all day long, taking my son back to uni. So he's gone. I've literally just got back and I wanted to record this. I've got 2 new Leisure batteries for this camper and I'm going to try and change them. I've been reading up on some of the Facebook pages. I'm on a few of the groups there and they recommend taking the seat out. It looks like that is really the only way to get the Leisure batteries out. I've got 2, one under each seat. So I'm going to remove the seats right now. So it looks like there's these Torx bits here, or torque bolts, whatever you want to call them. Looks like there's 4 on this one. On the passenger captain chair, whatever you want to call it, which swivels round, it looks like that this bit comes off separately to this plate, which enables it to swivel. So I think we'll have to take this off and then this off. So we'll come to that in a bit. First of all, we remove these. There's 4. I've slid the seat forward to get to the back ones, and then I'm going to slide it back this way and get to the front ones. So let's do this. I've undone the 4 bolts. This should just lift off now. Oh yeah, baby. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the seat out, exposing the first battery. Now in this camper, don't know why that's, what's that do? What's that like? Ah, that's interesting. It looks like that's come out. Looks like that's come out of there. Oh Jesus. Anyway, this battery, it's only a 75 amp hour battery, and because it's quite an old camper, so we literally bought a replacement battery, is exactly the same, just for ease. Now I know we could have upgraded them but you know, just for the sake of it, to make sure they fitted straight back where they come out of, we bought 2 identical batteries. So say they were quite cheap as well. We got them both for around 150, so they should have been sort of 135, 140 each, and there was an offer for 150 for both, so we snapped that up. So that'll be interesting to see what that blue wire is for. And yeah, that is very interesting. So that might explain a few of the issues we're having. And yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of that. One of our friends is coming over and he is a Sparky, so we will trace back them wires and see where they're from, hopefully. Okay, so that literally took me just a matter of seconds. I've turned off all the trip switches, so there shouldn't be any circuits on to these batteries. But I'm not going to take the batteries out until my friend gets here, because I'm not too sure. This side will be all right because they're very simple plugs, literally just a couple of cables. But that side, under the driver's seat, looks like either some wires have come out, they've slipped out of their connections, or have been a little bit bodged. So I'm not even gonna touch that side at the moment. Okay, so the battery is out. It's got these clips on. I've never seen them before. You literally, I don't want them touch just in case. You literally push them on to the battery terminal and then like shut them and they're locked on. So I've never seen that like that before. So this one I can change and it won't affect anything, I'm hoping. I'm just wondering whether just to leave it just in case. I mean, they got to be done, yeah. So I've hoovered it all out, a little bit dusty where it hasn't been cleaned out for years. So yeah, I'll just put it in. I'll put it in and then I won't connect it. Okay, compromise. We have Leisure batteries plugged in and working, checked by electrical expert, as in Stu down there with the head torch. That's how long we've been working. Now it's getting dark. However, you can see Stu here, now he's working on the toilet, which has been a bit of a issue since we bought the van, to be fair. We know the Leisure batteries are working now, and before, with the meter on the wall here, as soon as we turn the lights on, we'd lose power straight away with the old batteries. But now it looks like that the solar panels weren't actually powering the batteries, which is another issue. But also, now Stu's worked out, we think, that we put a new module on the back of the toilet, and originally we thought it worked. Now looks like we've ruled out that when we plug it in, the plugs actually are tight, but the connections inside the plugs aren't actually working. So Stu's like waving his, well, I wouldn't say that, but he's putting his magic touch on it and he's changing the connections. So hopefully this will do the trick. We will see. Right, it's the next day, and after a long few hours of trying to sort out the Leisure batteries and the toilet, it looks like everything now is working. So I'm going to try and explain to you what happened with the toilet, because the toilet, as I said, has been an ongoing issue since we bought the van. Now, I've bought a new pump, I bought a new module to go on the back of the toilet to try and get everything working. It turns out that the old pump still works because we tested that when I put the new pump on. But when we bypassed everything to check the pump and everything last night, the pump just fired up straight away. So we knew the pump wasn't the issue. So I bought the new module for the back. The module, when I say module, it's the piece with all the switches, the fuse, all in together. And it literally just screws onto the back of the toilet. By the way, the toilet that's in this van is a Thetford C2, something like that. So it's an older van, like I said, it's an old van. But it turns out, so when Stuart was trying to check the voltages and the power coming in to the actual toilet and to the pump and stuff, he had a multimeter and he bypassed the things to check the circuit. Every time he put the multimeter on it, the pump would work. But when we tried it without that, we couldn't get the pump to work when it was all plugged back into the van. It turns out that the actual plugs themselves, the old original plugs plugging into the new plugs that was on the module that I just said about, that wasn't actually making a connection. So even though the plugs felt tight when you pushed them together, the actual connections inside the plug wasn't even making. So Stu cut them off, put some new connectors on, and it looks like everything is working. So I'm so happy. I'm just going to put the front seat back in because, as you can see, there's no driver's seat at the minute. I put the passenger seat in last night. That is the heavier one. And then I will show you how we took out the cassette, the toilet. In case this is a job that you need to do, I'll show you how we took ours out, because it's still just loose at the minute. So I'm going to put this seat back in and then we will talk again. I'm ready to attempt to put the toilet all back together. I'll show you what I've done. And I've actually just modified a little stubby screwdriver, and you'll see why in a minute. So let's have a look at how this comes out. So this is how you'll see it fitted in as normal. Let's just zoom out a bit. The pump being this side, it won't work at the minute because the cassette's not in. That is access to the pump. That is under the toilet roll holder, which sits in there. So at the moment, there's no screws in this, it's just sat there. So if I just pull this up, I'll just show you. So this will all come up. Okay, so there's a bracket on the back wall here that the toilet hooks on. And at the back of that, there's a metal plate and the screws. Let me see if I can show you. So you can see the metal plate there, which is screwed into the wall. And then further down, them screws, that one there, that one there, there's one there, and then there's one there. Sorry about this. One there, and then one over there. That actually screws underneath into the bottom of this. So that is why it's such a pain, because you have to pull all this out and try and get your hand around here and then screw it back in up this way onto the back, if you get what I mean, which is why it's such a pain. So I'm going to try and attempt to do that now on my own. I won't be able to record that, so let's see how I get on. So I'll try and just show you a more detailed look at how this toilet goes together. So this plate here hooks on at the back here, but to screw this onto this bracket, these holes here have to be screwed up into these. It's the worst design I've ever seen, and it's just an absolute pain to get in and out. I'm trying something different, but I think I've tried it before. I'm going to try and screw this on and then see if I can get it back in, but I think I've done it before and it wouldn't work because this is too big and I can't get it back in. But I'm going to try it because I just can't get the screws in, so wish me luck. After lots of swearing and cutting down a screwdriver that didn't work and trying every screwdriver in my toolbox, with the help of my friend who's a giant, we now have a fully working toilet. I just put the new Leisure batteries on to show you, and listen, the flush is working. And after doing everything and putting it all back together, I went to put the cassette back in and it was so tight that I couldn't work out what had happened. Now, when the cassette was out last, I tried to clean it and I tried to take the top off, and there's a few screws, and I think the screws were not quite tight enough to flush fit the opening that slides forward when you put it in the cassette, you know, when you slide the cassette in. So I took that out, done that up, and then it slid in. It's just another thing that you just forget to check. So after a few hours of effing and blinding, we now have new Leisure batteries and a fully working toilet. We're supposed to be going away, driving up all the way to Scotland at the end of October, which is why I'm doing all this stuff, to try and get it ready. So there's not much else that needs replacing now because I've done everything. That is it. So this is just another video on this channel. So if you like this stuff, please hit the like button and remember to subscribe for more stuff, especially the trip to Scotland, which is going to be epic because we're taking another couple with us. They're taking their own camper van, they're not coming in this van. And we are driving all the way to the Highlands to do the NC 500. Personally, for us, it will be our third time up in the Highlands, but the first time in our own camper, going around the route and staying in the van. So it's really exciting. And I'm just trying to make sure that we're prepared, because obviously the weather up there is going to be different, and we need most things working. So that is it from me. See you on the next one.